Hey everybody, welcome to Bearded Baker Banter. It's the sports podcast, and boy, have we got a sports show for you. Welcome Trent, and welcome Trey.
How's it going, fellas? Good to be back again.
It's the dreaded week, the gap week between conference championships and Super Bowl. I hate this because I ain't watching any flag football this week. I don't know about you guys.
No.
College basketball, that's another story.
Yep.
We got quite the slate this weekend too.
We do.
We'll get there.
So real quick here, we do have a guest coming on here in a couple of minutes here. We're going to get into that. But first, I'd like to really just do a quick recap here of some of the championship weekend we just experienced this past weekend. I, on the other hand, am one very excited fan as my 49ers are in the Super Bowl, baby. So we shall see what's to come of it. You right there, Trey?
Yeah, I just got an ad on my laptop.
Oh, that's all right.
Just came out of nowhere.
I thought Trey was actually cheering. I was like,
I know.
This is a new Trey.
But no, yeah. So 49ers in Super Bowl against the Chiefs. This is a rematch from a few years back. Input, guys, thoughts. I know a lot of people were on the Ravens to take it to the Chiefs a little. Maybe not even take it to them, but to beat the Chiefs. And I'm not going to say that I've been saying it all year, but that playoff Lamar that I've been expecting seemed to show up this game.
Yeah. Go ahead, Trey.
But you've been saying that all season. This is the first time it actually came out. I think this game says a lot about the Ravens, but I also think it says a lot about the Chiefs too. We've said it a couple times this year, but they're not the same like razzle-dazzle Chiefs that are scoring 3 touchdowns within 4 minutes. They're working for their drives. They're a tough defensive team now. They've become almost like a gritty team rather than like all pass, like just exciting team to watch. But you're right, Lamar didn't play well. I think down the stretch, once they needed drives and touchdowns, he started doing what he does, where he goes for desperation heaves, relies on his legs too much. He can't make every single throw on the football field.
Right.
And it comes back to bite them year and year. I don't know. The Ravens have a great team. They had no business not beating the Chiefs, I think, in that game with their talent and how they played this year, and they just couldn't get it done.
Yeah. I would summarize it for the Ravens as wasted opportunity, right? You have probably the best defense in the NFL. You finally get the Chiefs where, they don't seem to have the weapons at receiver. You actually get them at your place in the AFC Championship, and you blew it. I will say, Trey, one thing where I disagree was I actually don't think Lamar used his legs enough. It almost looked like he was trying to almost, prove the naysayers wrong with, I don't need to run in order to do this thing. And he stood there when you could just go get the chunk play, get 6 yards, get 4 yards, get 5 yards. And he just sat there and would scramble, hold on to it, either take a sack or just throw it away. And it was like, what the heck are you doing, man? It's like, I know they probably have the spy, but
too.
What's that?
I said, I don't know if you guys heard the audio too. Odell was like, what's going on with you, man? Like, take off. Like, we need you to do that.
Yeah.
So
makes you wonder once again. I'm just, from the pre-games to, the antics with the Justin Tucker deal. And that, granted, I don't know. I know there's more and more stuff coming out of who was actually in the wrong. But when you look at it, and there's a lot of people all of a sudden saying, well, why the heck was Tucker down at their end of the field warming up? What's the Chiefs kicker? Butker, right? Yeah. He's on the Ravens side. Like I guess that's a common thing. In the NFL, it's not quite like college. It's not quite like high school football where this is your end. Don't ever cross that 50-yard line at all costs. The NFL, they have a little bit of a gentleman's agreement. And I don't know. I just thought there was a better way to handle it rather than kicking and throwing the stuff around. But who knows what words were said. But I'm just telling you right now, they were already becoming kind of villains, in my opinion. And I think they're full on with the addition of the pop star fame. They're full on villains right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, I don't think the majority of the country didn't really want this matchup between either of these two teams. But I don't know. I would have to imagine there's a lot of people cheering for the Niners this week.
I think you kind of look at it two different ways because I think while there is the villain aspect of it too, you do have all of the Taylor Swift fans, and so I do think that you are bringing in a certain realm of fans to cheer on the Chiefs that know nothing about football. So
Tyler, are you okay? You actually called her name on the show. Are you okay? I know that took a lot for you.
Yeah. I just can't wait to see them all cry when the game's over and the Niners win. But no, I mean, just like I said, we'll get into the Super Bowl picks and all that stuff next week. But I mean, my assessment, on the Chiefs and stuff and the Ravens, it is a different Chiefs team. You guys pointed that out. I think the fact that their defense is really the strength of their team right now is, very obviously very, very different from what it's been. I believe number 2 scoring defense in the NFL, correct, during the regular season. They've given up 3 points, I think, in the second half. And I think their average was in the fourth quarter, they've only given up an average of 7 points in the fourth quarter all season. So just some statistics to kind of throw out there. So their defense is leading them, but, obviously the game that I was interested in was the Niners and the Lions, which was the tale of two halves. The Lions' tale of two halves, if you will. Get it? But, yeah, I mean, some people could argue they're saying, hey, the Lions blew it. You could also make the argument, though, on the other hand, in which I favor more, is that the Niners just got things done, made adjustments, went man-to-man coverage instead of zone coverage in the second half, covered up the gaps where they were filling the holes, gave the linebackers a chance to actually fill in the run. It was a very different game. I do think that some of Dan Campbell's calls, which I don't hate his calls because he's done it all season. But I think that stop on fourth down was really kind of telling just in the sense because the Niners drove down first drive of the second half and only got a field goal. They would have hit a field goal there. If the Lions would have hit a field goal, it's back to 17 again. It's like it was at halftime. So I think that was a game changer. But I know we'll get some hate on Brock from Trey, but Brock Purdy's a dude, man. I don't care what anybody says. The guy can play. So say what you want. He's a gamer.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right, Tyler. The Niners did make adjustments, and they did improve their second half play for sure, but they got quite a few breaks in that second half to win by 3 points. The fumble on the first possession by Gibbs and the Goff handoff, that's insane. Josh Reynolds dropping 2 huge third down passes that were wide open. He just bobbled them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are like pretty big mistakes and breaks that go in the 49ers way, and credit to them because they capitalized on them. So,
right, and you're exactly right.
Yeah, the Dan Campbell thing. I understand it's what you've done all season and everything, but you gotta consider the weight of the decision you're making too, situationally.
Yeah.
Like you said, Tyler, the fact you didn't decide just to go up by over 2 scores again and kind of even the game and waste all that time, like time is also an enemy of the 49ers in that point.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't know. It just I don't know. I understand that people like its aggressiveness, but I also think there's a time and a place to make smart decisions too.
Right.
But even besides the 2 fourth down decisions, is decision to run the ball when they were trying to make a comeback on the goal line there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had a chance to stop the clock if you hold the 49ers to a fourth down and have another drive to score, but instead you ran it, and then you have to waste the timeout, and then it's just game over at that point. Yeah. So, I don't know, just a lot of coaching miscues, I think, just very mismanaged second half by the Lions.
Can I point out one more thing, and then Trent, I'll get your input here, and then we'll get in with our guest here. I'm surprised nobody's made this comparison yet, or at least talked about it. I know they talked about it, a little bit prior to the game. The last time that Dan Campbell faced the Niners in the playoffs was as a player for the New York Giants. The New York Giants were up 24 points late in the third quarter and ended up losing to San Francisco back in 2003 in the playoffs. So
Jeez.
Dan Campbell was the tight end for the Giants, as a matter of fact. So
I'll tell you what, though, I couldn't. I don't know if I'd recovered by this time yet if I was a Lions fan.
yeah, yeah,
That is just brutal.
I mean, you guys kind of hit on the most of the points here. The gambles on the fourth down. Worst thing was running the ball on that third down where he ended up having to take the timeout, if you guys recall.
why didn't you kick the field goal?
Yeah. I didn't understand that one. But like you said, Ty.
That's what I was saying at the end of the game there.
Yeah.
He wasted a timeout.
His mentality has been that way all year. I'm going to go out and get it. Nothing's going to be given. I'm not going to allow a team to win the game rather than, he didn't want to wait around and see if his team could survive ever. He just wanted to go get it. And you know what? He got his team there, and I think they're going to be back. I know it's not easy to get back there, but they're going to be back. I mean, I love the fact that the breaking news that following week was the opposite of what everybody thought was going to be, which is the offensive coordinator has left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The guy's legit. And the fact that, once again, I speak to the change in what these coaches are becoming in the NFL, the new guard that's coming in is strictly culture, it seems like.
Yeah.
These young guys that can create a culture there where the players buy in, and now the assistants, the coordinators, want to stay the coordinators. I mean, look down in Houston too. Yeah. It happened with Slowick as well.
Yeah.
Get a little bit more money. You know what? He probably had a chance to get one of those 2 last remaining jobs, but he's staying. I love it. I think it's awesome to see that, because how many times do teams? I mean, look at the Eagles this year. They have success, lose both coordinators. But now, once again, culture there doesn't seem too friendly, right? There's talk of a lot of animosity. So the only, I guess, fun fact or fun stat that I would like to share with you guys, and I think this guy deserves a shout-out, is Sam Darnold.
I know exactly the stat you're looking at.
The only first-round quarterback from the class of 2018 draft to make the Super Bowl. And yes, that is over Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Rosen. I don't even know where he's at, but So congrats, Sam Darnold. Go get your ring, man. Go get it. So
all right, boys. Well, we're gonna get our special guest on here just in a moment. All right, so now joining us, an ex, formerly known as Twitter legend, a free pick genius, breaker of the books, and longtime friend of the Bearded Baker Brothers. Please welcome in Fast Breaks Steve to the show. Welcome, sir.
How you doing, fellas?
Pretty good, man.
Excited to be here.
All right, so we got a couple things here, just some discussion points. We're going to look into some college basketball stuff. We'll finish up with some football talk. We discussed a little conference championship, but we'll get into a little bit more here at the end of this too. So real quick, just looking at who you are, some favorite teams, some favorite sports to bet on, who you got, who you like, what do you like to watch?
So I'm a guy. I dabble in a lot of different things as far as sports teams go. I mean, I'm from Texas.
Okay.
So I'm a big Longhorns fan till I die. My sister went there. I didn't moving to Virginia. My parents are military, so we were moving around a bit. So I lived in Europe for a little bit. So that's where my love of soccer came from when I was a kid. But I'm a Texas Longhorns fan, Mavericks fan. Grew up going to Rangers games. Adopted the Nationals when came up here in Virginia.
Right.
And then my football team, NFL. My uncle, they're all from Cali. Put me on to the Raiders.
Oh boy.
He would come and visit. He would show me clips of Bo Jackson on VHS. He goes, awesome. You don't want a star on your helmet, man. He goes, you want this right here. And I was like, you're right. So ever since then, I was a kid, been a black and silver Raiders till I die.
That's what's up,
man. It's been a hell of a road.
Yeah.
It's painful. I'm with you in that Raider Nation there. It's painful at times, but I'm excited though.
I say my hate for Tom Brady's legit. It's not because he's good. It's because of a tuck rule. That's why. Other than that, I respect him as a player. But yeah, that's it, man. That's a little background about me.
That's
the teams
up,
I like, and yeah, man, just growing up with sports betting and got a good experience. And I was, I used to be with Betway, parted ways last year, middle of the year last year. It was a good experience. Cool. Just, different philosophies are going different directions,
sure. Yep, absolutely understand that.
So I'd like to, I don't mean to come at you quick because we're both Raiders fans here, but the Texas thing, I can't let it go by because it drives me nuts, and I hear it from a Texas fan, right? This past weekend, BYU Texas. BYU actually goes out of the way to make their student section turn in the shirts that say "Horns Down." What is so offensive by a simple gesture?
It's not. See, the thing about it is Rodney Terry, who I don't know if he's the man for the job for the Longhorns this year, but he just doesn't. It was weird hearing that, like him telling these guys, because I mean, you talk to Texas fans who are in Texas or outside Texas. It's like we expected. Like we've been seeing it the whole time we play Oklahoma. Any team in the Big 12, we always would get horns down. So it's not new. It's not derogatory. I mean, you're gonna talk some trash to your rivals, so it's normal stuff. So it's Rodney Terry, in my opinion, who's kind of making everybody look soft, and we're kind of upset that he's kind of putting the targets on us, and now all the SEC message boards, they're talking about you guys are not going to survive, and it's just like, it's Rodney Terry, man. It's not us.
I think the way that they react is why people keep doing it. It's like if you get them riled up and you can get that reaction, it's like, man, I would do it too.
Right. And I don't blame them. Them. They're allowed to do that because when we beat them and they've been throwing horns down the whole game, so Rodney Terry should have turned around and tell his boys, like, if you don't want to see him do that, beat him. So
exactly.
Yeah, I don't understand why they told the BYU students to take it. I mean, I heard the rumor is an admin from BYU told them to do it. I don't know if it's like a BYU rule, but I really hope it's not somebody from Texas that went to complain because that's really soft, man.
I was gonna say you don't want to be given that soft title.
Right.
All right, cool. So we do a lot of discussion, blue blood schools. We talk some bracketology stuff. I know one obviously big topic that's kind of looking into the NCAA and in all sports essentially, but we'll kind of take a focus here from the standing of who do you think could replace the Pac-12 in, let's say, our Power 5 conferences.
I mean, if Big East had a better football program, I would say Big East could slide into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's at the moment. I would look at them as kind of the conference that slides in.
Yeah, I wouldn't you even say they probably, because right now this year with basketball, I see a lot of analysts talking about there's actually Power 6 in basketball. They're lumping the Big East now ever since UConn won it, and I mean right now UConn's looking kind of unstoppable. I don't know, but I would agree in basketball terms with that. I'll tell you what, I'm going to come in a different angle here because maybe it's just a league that I'm paying a lot more attention to because schools are kind of surrounding us a little bit. I think for basketball purposes, A10. I like a lot of these schools in the A10 this year. Top to bottom, that middle, you got Dayton at the very top. Well, sorry, Richmond at the very top right now. But Dayton's ranked top 25. You got the Bonnies, St. Bonaventure. I mean, you could rattle off even with St. Joe's too.
Right.
Okay, they're always tough, and there was a couple years there with Jameer Nelson and Delonte West and all those guys where they made multiple runs. So that's where I'm going, fellas.
I mean, I'll let you guys go ahead. I'll hop in after.
Yeah, I mean,
point by 10.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, because especially when you look at it from the sense of, I know we want to focus more on the basketball aspect, but you do have to kind of take into consideration the football aspect too. But I don't know. I do kind of agree with the Big East aspect of things. You know, you got UConn, Creighton, Marquette, Seton Hall, Providence, Butler, St. John's, Xavier, Villanova. And I mean, when you look at, Georgetown and DePaul, when you really look at it right now, I mean, there's been how many years in a row that Xavier and Villanova have been at the top of the Big East. And right now they're really kind of bottom feeders. I think even DePaul there for a little while had a little bit of a run a couple years back, but I don't know what the heck's going on with Georgetown, but maybe Allen Iverson needs to come back or something and get some money. But
the whole Georgetown with Ed Cooley, it's I think he's gonna build a program here. Yeah. They're excited to have him, but it's just. I think there was like a documentary that dropped. Mm-hmm. I don't know I didn't get a chance to see it before YouTube pulled it down. So I wish I got to see more about it. Right. But there's this whole I don't know if it was a hit piece on Ed Cooley and one of the administrators or one of the writers or something like that.
Right.
But I think he'll do a good job at Georgetown. He just needs to get the players in because Patrick Ewing was awful. I mean,
dude, so bad.
I would go to games and it just would be flat. And I mean, they play in the same arena as the Wizards. It's a lot of space to fill, but it just wasn't. He was just. He's probably better of an assistant coach,
right?
More of a guy to fire up the guys and yell at them and get them focused. Right. But he's not a head coach,
which is mind-boggling too. Because I mean, he was a hell of a player. Across the board, it's like you'd think that the guy's like, oh my gosh, it's Patrick Ewing. But at the same time, it's like, I agree with you with the Cooley aspect of it because this is first year, correct?
Yep.
So, I mean, he had him going, at
Providence.
Yeah, Providence. Sorry, I couldn't think. At Providence. So, I mean, once you're right. Once he gets his guys in here, give him another year or two, I hope, they kind of stick with him throughout. Like, they're not like, oh, well, we made a mistake here and let's move on. But give him a shot.
I think they will. If they gave Patrick Ewing as long as they did,
that's a good point.
I mean, all Ed has to do is get him to the tournament, and he's like going to be the third John Thompson there.
Right,
you know what I mean? So,
literally.
Literally.
Right?
Exactly. Hey, Trey, who are you thinking?
I think you guys kind of touched on it, but depending on if you're talking about just strictly basketball, I would say the Big East. Or even like the American Athletic Conference. I think one of those teams would sneak in to replace them. But if you're considering all sports, I would have to say the Mountain West, personally.
Oh, you just listen.
That was a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, because I think in terms of the basketball conference, I mean, they got some quality teams there. Boise State, New Mexico. They were pretty good this year.
Wyoming,
Utah
State.
Wyoming,
Utah State, they're 19-2. It's crazy.
San Diego? Did you say San Diego State too? Because weren't they a Final Four team last year?
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So I think that, and that's in basketball alone. And you think about football, I think the two remaining, the Pac-2, I think they're going to move to the Mountain West eventually.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I just think the rest of the football teams, Boise State's great. They compete. So I just think they're probably the one to replace the Pac-12 as a whole. But basketball's a different story.
I mean,
good point.
If you look, like Tracy said about football, like they have Air Force in there, they got Fresno State in there, they got Nevada, they got UNLV, Colorado State.
Right.
Yeah, that's not bad when you really think about it. That's a decent pick. Okay, all right.
Yeah, that might be the pick because for real, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we don't see a complete collapse of these like mid-major conferences, because I mean, I don't know how they're going to survive with being able to bring enough. I mean, I guess with transfer portal, it's helping them actually to some degree, at least in basketball, maybe not football, but it's going to be. I mean, heck, Trey, you said the American. I'm like looking at it now, and I'm like, well, shoot, like SMU's out, like they're going to the ACC. So it's like that's a team that football-wise is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Trent, I'm glad you brought up the transfer portal because, Steve, that's one of the questions I want to ask you about. When it comes to strictly basketball, so we discussed this a little bit last year, but do you think that the transfer portal in NCAA, like basketball, men's basketball, do you think it's helping or hurting? And, like, do you personally enjoy it either way or not? Because we kind of have differing opinions, and they kind of change when you look at different aspects. But I'm curious to hear from outside of the Baker standpoint.
Yeah, no problem. That's a good question. First off, with the transfer portal, they need to make a rule about how many times consecutive transfers. I think once they reel that in, they'll get a better feel on it, because I think middle of this year they kind of let the guys who've 2 consecutive transfers go ahead and play. I guess if they go forward with the rule, because the problem with the NCAA is that they waver back and forth. You know what I mean? So money, they're driven by money. So if you got the money, they're going to listen to you. I think if they get a handle on that. But as far as like teams, being able to hop around and kind of go to different teams and better opportunity for you, I think it actually is good for college basketball, because I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's like, oh man, I can't get it back into basketball. We just don't have these dominant teams. I can't feel. I'm like, dude, but you realize like the talent has been dispersed all over.
Exactly.
So you're gonna get better basketball from the smaller conferences, and it's not gonna be just Duke and UNC and all the blue bloods running over everybody. Now you actually, like, I think honestly it puts an emphasis on coaching.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are casual fans don't realize, like, yes, guys are talented, but I'm going to take, Rick Pitino up against somebody who I know who's maybe not that great of a coach, who might have better talent, but I think Rick Pitino's going to get his team over the line. So, that's where it helps that, and it just hurts for guys who are, they're not getting their way, so they'll leave. But we can tell the difference between somebody who is like, hey, I'm leaving because, it's just not a good fit for me. I'm going to leave. Or the guy who is a superstar and goes, I'm not getting enough shine here. I'm bouncing. It's kind of like, so because you don't want to work hard, so.
I'll tell you, there's one guy I think that used the transfer portal the right way, and he actually plays for Texas, is Max Absmus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Look, he committed to Oral Roberts. He took him on runs in the tournament. He was great there, and now he's going to play 1 year and expose himself for NBA prospects. So, I mean,
exactly.
That's someone that, you're right. That just, they're using it the right way, but you're also right in the fact that it does disperse talent.
Yeah.
I mean, look at FAU last year, making the Final Four. Like, that's you get these bench players that transfer to smaller schools, and they're still extremely talented. And I completely agree with everything you said.
Tonight, I have watched 4 games. Cleveland State and the 0 and now 23 Detroit, right? Right. I've watched that.
Heart, man.
I'm loving the pace of this Youngstown State Wright State game. Yeah. Phenomenal talent there. And then, heck, I even watched Tarleton State, right? That was one of our recipe picks tonight, too. So, I mean, you're right. Even when you watch it, don't get me wrong, it's kind of funny because my wife's watching and she's like, are you watching a high school game right now? I'm like, what? Like, no, this is Division I. She's like, why is there nobody there? I'm like, well, yeah, they're like 123. So she's like, well, then why are you watching it? I'm like, well, I have some money on this one. So, but the talent's there. Yeah, the talent's there. I mean, I love it. I love the fact that it's no longer now, like, since this has started to take rise, right, we've seen definitely 116 upset last year, but then a couple years back it was Virginia. So like these even 16 seeds are getting in there, and competing with the ones.
Yep.
So I love it. Yeah,
it's parity, man. That's what we want. It's
absolutely.
I agree, because I actually think it has made March Madness that much. Like, I mean, it was always intense, but now I think it's even more intense. Where you're like, who the hell is going to win? I mean, like you guys mentioned too, like you had FAU and San Diego State in the Final Four last year. Like, what the hell? Like, who picked that? You know what I mean? It's like
I love that. That's so much more entertaining to me.
Oh, for sure.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that the difference too is, you take that versus say a sport like football is like the teams are going to compete no matter who you're playing against. You know what I mean? It's like football. All right, who's got the bigger guys? It's like, oh boy, and they'll be exposed a little bit. But in basketball, it's like, hey, guess what? I'm the same size as you. maybe I didn't have as much exposure. I go to a smaller school, but guess what? I'm just as good as you. So it is kind of cool to see.
Tyler, I also think a big difference in basketball is when you start to get these guys that are more the older guys that transfer, late. I mean, in basketball, that can be a big. I mean, football, that could be a huge difference. Size, strength, age, but you definitely see. You get these stud McDonald's All-American teams sometimes get put in their place by some of these, maybe the smaller schools.
Yeah.
And we see those upsets throughout the year, and it's. I'm a college basketball junkie since I was young, so it's like. I'm staying up till 1 a.m. watching the West Coast games when I was in high school. So, they had me hooked before this.
Right.
Yeah. So
All right.
So Ty, we getting picks here. We getting a little regular season going.
So what we'll do here is we'll say with our Power 5, but then what I think we could even do too, if you guys want to, we can take a peek at A10, Big East, AAC, and Mountain West, just to kind of. And what we'll do is we won't pick like say the tournament winners, but we'll just pick who you think the regular season winner is going to be.
I like that
in the conference. So let's start off. I won't rattle all the teams from every conference here. Maybe a couple in the smaller ones, but like.
Well, Tyler, do you want to start with the best conference there is? So I have to get. I have to get that in there. I'm kind of have like a sponsorship spokesman for the ACC. Sorry, I'm sorry, and don't listen to Joe Lenardi. He hates on the ACC. But guys, I'm going to make this claim, and I'm going to back it up real quick. Since 2015, conference with the most NCAA tournament titles, ACC. Final Fours, ACC. Elite Eights, ACC. Sweet 16s, ACC as well. So that's all I'll say. I just made my income for the week. So go ahead. Let's go.
Since 2015, how many has Duke been a part of those?
Since 2015, we have a national title. So that's Final Four as well.
So one of each.
Yep. And then we did make a Final Four that I don't like to talk about because Tyler will rub that in my face. That was the clash of the Carolina teams there. So
just so you're on the same page, Steve, Trent's a Duke fan, die hard, and I'm a diehard North Carolina fan. So
oh wow,
we're opposite ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah, this Saturday we're not hanging out.
Yeah, big games this Saturday, man. Couple big games.
Yeah.
I'll mention those. I guess I have a little point for those because there's definitely that Tennessee-Kentucky game, but we'll get there.
Oh yeah.
All right, Tyler, what conference you want to start with?
Well, yeah, I mean, since you kind of prefaced it, might as well start with the ACC.
Okay, sold.
I mean, bias aside, I'm going to go with the Tar Heels. I mean, I hate how they played this past night. But that was their first loss in conference. I think Duke sits at 7-2, Virginia at 7-3, Carolina's at 9-1. So I think Carolina will take the 1 seed going into the ACC tournament. So they're playing well. I mean, honestly, it's kind of interesting to see, how many guys have stayed. I think Baycott might turn 40 next week. But I'll tell you what, I mean, to see the guys still playing, and they're a team too that's kind of really taking advantage of that transfer portal late, bringing in a guy here and there. It's like so. But yeah, I'm going with the Tar Heels.
All right, Steve, who you got?
Oh man, it's hard to argue against UNC, but with this game this weekend, if I was a betting man, it's.
I like that.
I mean, this game is big because it's going to show if UNC runs away with it. That's just right there. Kind of shows you like it's unless they trip up somewhere. But their trip up game was perfect for the Wake Forest because it was the situational handicap. They were stuck in the look ahead spot. Yep. They had Duke this weekend, so it was there. You know what I mean? Totally. This was a game they were going to lose. So. It points to UNC in my opinion. It's hard. Like you said, they have age, they have experience. Mm-hmm. They got kicked in the teeth last year. They didn't even make. They didn't make the tournament last year, right?
No, we actually don't talk about that.
Steve.
You're correct. Well, the problem is, Steve, is when they heard about an invitation to the NIT, they thought it was a standardized test. And you know how Carolina, they're like, oh, we just write like a one paragraph and get an A, right, Tyler?
Oh, so man. I mean, he's taking low blows now.
But here's
taking the test for him.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even argue with it because that is what happens. So it's like,
right.
Yeah. No,
I see them kind of, they're bouncing back. They started playing basketball like really good at the right time, right in January. They started just hitting their stride. So they just got to get through February, and we'll see how they land.
Yeah, I'm adding on to that. I'm going to go with UNC as well. I think Baycott returned for a reason, and one of those reasons is winning an ACC title in the regular season and in the tournament. It was tough picking between the two blue bloods and Duke and UNC, but I think UNC's got a little bit more experience. So that's what I want with them.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it a clean sweep, and I'll keep it short and sweet. UNC.
You gonna reverse jinx it? Like, that's bullshit.
No,
stop. That's what he's doing.
Listen. It is, and to me, it comes down to right now they have the best player in the conference. That's R.J. Davis. He's the best. I think he's the best guard right now. He might be the best guard in the country. Looking at it through and through, especially because he has that experience. But the one thing I'm going to put out there that makes me really nervous, because this team has looked horrible early overall, but they are starting to click, and it's a typical Virginia basketball team where all of a sudden Tony Bennett gets his guys now. They're falling into his system. They can cause teams like a Duke and a UNC a problem with the way they defend.
The pack line defense, baby.
It drives me nuts.
It is. It's the best defensive system in basketball, hands down.
So I'm going to say don't sleep on Virginia. All right, I know Duke's in second, but Virginia's 2 games out. Duke and Carolina play each other, so they're going to beat up on each other. And just don't sleep. I'm going Carolina, but don't sleep on Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that call. The only problem with Virginia I have is that there's just when if they're not scoring, that's it. Like that game's over. Like, but every time I call them, going, oh, they're not going to score today. They'll drop 85 points, and I just they'll surprise you. But yeah, defense travels. So
that's a good point.
It does.
All right, let's get to AC. Or no, let's go to SEC.
Ooh, all right.
I don't know. I guess you guys just want to go same order.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's keep rolling.
All right, SEC wise, I am a Tennessee fan in college football, but college basketball with them and Barnes, man, I don't know what it is. It reminds me a lot of like Purdue when the big game comes. It's like all of a sudden the bright lights kind of everybody runs away. It's like where's the team at? Kind of thing. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna stick with the top seed right now. I know they're only a game up. I'm gonna stick with Alabama. Alabama's tough. I like their their coach is tough. It's I think Trey, you're not a fan of him, are you?
Well, I mean, he literally pushes other teams' players, but that's fine.
I remember you saying that. But yeah, I'm gonna go Alabama here. Steve.
So yeah, I mean, I like the way Alabama's playing right now. I just don't think it carries over. I think the SEC or one of these conferences are going to kind of beat each other up. Mm-hmm. Right now, Tennessee, Auburn, I'm curious to see where that goes. This game with Tennessee and Kentucky this weekend, it's going to probably answer a few questions for me. Yeah. But don't sleep on South Carolina. Yeah. Like, South Carolina's there. I just saw them at plus 2,200 to win the SEC. Wow. And sitting at 6-2 right now, you're plus 2,200. I mean, sprinkle a little bit.
Heck yeah.
And pray. And I just, they're one of those teams that just play tough, and it's just I gotta hate on Ole Miss because Chris Beard's there. I gotta make sure, like, I don't want him to have any kind of success if it's not with Texas. Right. I understand why we fired him, but it's kind of. I mean,
that hurt.
I was kind of mad he got a job right away, and it was just kind of like,
like immediate.
Maybe we should have suspended him, not fired him. Like, So yeah, my pick. I'm gonna go long shot. I'll go South Carolina.
Okay.
I'll shake it up a little bit.
Hey, they're on a 4-game win streak right now too. So
yeah, man. We'll see. We'll see what they do,
right.
but I'm gonna ride the hype.
That plus 2,200 that's. You're right about the sprinkle. That's not
That's crazy.
Right
now they're second. That's crazy that like they're putting those odds out there. Like that blows my mind. Like,
and Tennessee and Auburn are shorter odds, much shorter. They're like plus 230, plus 210, and then you just see the guys in second place, just like, nah, man, you're definitely not going to win it. So just don't show up. Thanks.
And the other thing, real quick too, Chad, and then I'll let you get your pick. But I mean, we talked about UNC looking past the past game and going to Kentucky with Florida the other night. Like out of nowhere, it's like all of a sudden the Florida Gators beat Kentucky. It's like, what the heck just happened? And it's I don't know. This is gonna be I'm excited for this. This is gonna be a good buffer weekend between NFL football and
right.
So that we actually don't have to watch the Pro Bowl.
We need it. No, pick wise for the SEC, Tyler. I am going to go with your Tennessee Volunteers. Okay. I think Dalton Knecht. He's just such a versatile player, averaging 20 points per game. And Tennessee's losses, I know they just lost to South Carolina, Steve, one of your good picks. But their other ones are to Purdue, Kansas, North Carolina, and a very experienced Mississippi State team who is also in their conference. So I just think that, what's his name? Rick Barnes, great regular season coach, always gets the regular season title, drops first round of the NCAA tournament. So
right. No, I remember him, man. He was Texas coach, man.
Shoot, I forgot.
Hey, that was our guy. I love Ricky, man. But that's his MO. Like we look good, and then when it's pressure time, it's just not there. So
I'm gonna go Tennessee though.
Okay. Trent, who you got?
I'll tell you what. I'm just looking at the schedules and stuff, and I'm going to go with somebody we haven't said yet. I think I'm going Auburn. I like Auburn. Auburn has a good win on the road against Bama. They get Bama again at home. They get South Carolina at home on Valentine's Day, and then you got Kentucky at home.
I'm glad you told us it was on Valentine's Day.
Well, just in case we need plans, guys. Okay. We're gonna do dinner in because there's a big game tonight. No, that's not gonna fly. But I think the game that it's gonna come down to is they do have Tennessee at Tennessee on the 28th of February. So I don't know. I love the coach. I love Bruce Pearl. I don't know. I feel like I could relate to him because he always looks like his blood pressure is extremely high. So I'm going to say Auburn. They always, doesn't it seem like the past couple of years, Auburn is either like not ranked or ranked like barely in the top 25. And then they always find their way into the top 10. Like, I respect to Bruce Pearl. I know he got run out of kind of Tennessee a little bit with some recruiting stuff.
I'll tell you what, that's another guy that I wish we had back at Tennessee. Like, because again, I'm not a Tennessee basketball fan. I'm Carolina, but like I still follow him.
And for what he might have gotten in trouble for, might be what like NIL is
completely
now, right?
Completely legal now.
Yes.
Like,
if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, man.
That's right. That's right.
Listen, if you're not doing something like, lawfully illegal, I'll look the other way.
Yep.
You know what I mean? A Ferrari here.
Right.
You gotta toe the line for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going Auburn. I think do we all have 4 different ones there?
We have 4. I was just looking at that. We have 4 different teams.
Yeah.
I've been jotting them down too here.
Yeah, that's good.
Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, and South Carolina. We got.
I like it. No Kentucky's, which is crazy.
No.
Man, that loss last night, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm not sure about them. It's they're going to make it to the league. Like, they're all NBA players, but it's just like, cool, guys. Like, thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird, though? Like,
it was a fun year.
Do you remember when Calipari was, like, the first to do it, like, one and dones? And people were like, oh, how's anybody going to ever compete with them? It's like they were going to be good forever. And all of a sudden now they've been running the mill, like, pretty average for quite some time. It's like because everybody's now able to do it. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I also think it's not the way to do it anymore. I know that's another note.
I agree.
I think it's the transfer portal thing again. Like I think it's get rather than get young quick, it's now get old quicker. You know,
and how much
a
your
lot of these
boosters
teams
have.
are doing. What's that?
And how much money your boosters have.
It's true. True.
That's why God bless Texas, man.
Right? Exactly. It's unlimited.
All the oil money. That's
all the oil money, man. All of it.
Shit, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Man, no wonder Arch Manning's sticking around.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he's making millions of dollars. He'll get the keys. Don't worry. He'll get that. He's good.
He will. All right. Let's jump to Big 12 here. Big 12. Whew. I'll be honest with you. I don't trust Houston. That's a team I haven't trusted them in a tournament in the last couple of years. They always seem to find. It's another team. They always seem to find a way to kind of lose it somehow. Man, I want to pick Iowa State so bad, just because of Brock Purdy and the Niners. But I'm not going to because it's not even related at all. But I'm going to say Texas Tech. So I think they're playing tough.
Wow.
It's kind of nice to see Texas Tech, back up and having some success right now. So I'm going to go with the Red Raiders.
Not a bad pick. They're playing great. They're playing great right now. Houston, I'm with you. I don't really agree they'll win the Big 12, but what benefits them is that them getting beat up on the road in this Big 12 play, it'll get them ready for the tournament.
Yeah.
I think Houston will be a tournament-ready team. And it pains me to say this, but I something in my gut just says Bill Self is going to figure it out like he always does, and Kansas is going to just show up, and then they're going to be Big 12 regular season champs, and he doesn't freak out. It's a weird situation. Now, who they lose to the other night?
West Virginia.
Yes. But I will say that's another one of those tough places to play.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have been there, seen a game there. I had a few friends that went there, so I went up, watched basketball. Love the football, like that atmosphere. If you guys have to ever have a chance, check a Mountaineers game, football game, man. Like hear them sing Country Road and top of their lungs is something else. But it's that loss to West Virginia. Honestly, is like, okay, cool. Chalk it up to Big 12 play.
Sure.
West Virginia at home is some reason they have a fortress, but once they go on the road, they're just they're trash again. I mean, my pick is gonna be Kansas, man. I hate this man, but I gotta go Kansas.
How about the fact though that like they could lose like 3 in a row and they'll drop like 2 spots in the top 25. Like
because they're very biased to Kansas.
I send a text out every time the AP top 25 comes out. I'm like, well, Kansas lost 2 this week and they dropped 1 spot. Like seriously, like what the hell is going on? That's frustrating. But how can you pick against Bill Self? Because he has been doing it for years.
And that's why I'm going to piggyback on Steve's pick here, because I also have Kansas winning the Big 12 this year. Okay. Kansas, they have some losses to West Virginia, Central Florida. That's going to happen regardless. The Big 12 has 8 ranked teams in their conference alone, which is crazy. So conference play they're all quad 1 competition. So like a loss doesn't hurt you as much. A win helps you greatly. Yeah. Kansas has a dynamic duo in Kevin McCullers and Hunter Dickinson. Hunter Dickinson, he's averaging 19 points, 11 rebounds. McCullers is averaging 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yeah.
Not to mention the floor general they have in DeJuan Harris, who's like a prototypical point guard who can control a game, assists, steals, rebounds, points, everything. He can do it all. Bill Self, he's done it time and time again, and it's hard to bet against him. And I think this is probably one of his better Kansas teams he's actually had in a while, to be honest.
No.
Trent, I think so.
He's got
I think in terms I think in terms of you're talking one and dones, inexperienced players. Hunter Dickinson is going to lead this team deep in the tournament.
Okay. Trey,
I think so.
I'm gonna tell you why you're way wrong.
Okay. Oh, I would love to hear it.
Ready? One word: depth. Depth.
Okay.
They have no depth. Their starting five plays the most minutes out of any starting five in that conference, and let alone potentially in the NCAA. Okay. McCullers was out the other night, right? He was injured. Dickinson got banged up. And I'm not saying injuries are going to be the reason they're going to struggle. I'm saying foul trouble. Dickinson can get into foul trouble. If you take him, if you are another team playing against Kansas, get him in the pick and roll, get him in foul trouble early, and I'm telling you right now, it's done because it's a way to do it. It's what teams do to, like, say Duke or say UNC. What do they do to Filipowski? What do they do to an Armando Bacot? Get him in a pick and roll, make him go perimeter to post, and you're going to pick up some cheap ones. It's simple as that. So I'm not taking Kansas. I think this is the year that Kansas does not win the regular season. Okay. I am going to go with the top dog here, and I'm looking at it at the way that their schedule finishes. I like the way that their schedule finishes for them. They end up at home against Kansas. I'm saying Houston. I'm sorry if I didn't clarify that.
You want to tell us who that is, Trent?
Houston is a top dog in there right now. I mean, Houston's riding a 5-game win streak right now in the Big 12. Yeah. That's tough to do. I mean, I know it wasn't one of them's Texas Tech and Texas. So I don't know. I think Houston's too good. I think Shed is too good of a leader. I think he is not only a prototypical point guard, but he also has a little extra too, to the point where he can score the ball. Whereas Harris can shoot from time to time, but super streaky, more of a distributor. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I'm going Houston here. Can I just point out one team that I thought I was gonna go with initially tonight until what cleared. I looked at their last 3 games. Right, this is Baylor. Right, Baylor had some hype. They're still like a top 10.
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
They finished with Kansas, Texas, and Texas Tech. Those are their last 3 games.
With.
Right.
Actually, let me go. Can I go 5? Their last 5 games. Ready for this? Houston, TCU, Kansas, Texas, Texas Tech. That's a gauntlet.
It is a gauntlet.
That's a gauntlet. Those 5.
Hey, Trent.
Yeah.
Before we move on from the Big 12, I'd like to propose something. I'd like to propose a beer bet to you about where Houston and Kansas finish in the Big 12.
Finishes regular season or tournament?
Regular season in their conference. Whoever finishes higher, I would like to propose a beer bet because I don't agree with you. The depth you're playing hypotheticals about foul trouble and everything else, and they do have. I mean, they don't have the deepest team, but they have players that can step up in Hunter Dickinson's foul trouble if that were to occur. So I would like to beer bet you.
Trey, you don't have to explain anymore. Let's take it. Let's lock that in.
Thank you.
Lock it in.
All right.
That was a gimme.
I like that. I like it. Well, Houston got Kelvin Sampson, good coach, good self. So it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a fight to the end. It's we'll just watch. All of us will just watch Iowa State win the Big 12, and we're just all gonna be upset. And
yes.
Yep. That's exactly what will happen.
So true. Yeah.
All right. I got the beer bet marked down. So
all right. Good.
Trey, you said Kansas. Trent, you said Houston.
Mm-hmm. Whoever finishes higher.
Whoever finishes higher. It's not even they have to win it. It's whoever finishes higher.
Yep.
Oh man, this game on Saturday just got even better.
Dude, such higher stakes.
Now.
And Trey, can I just say this? They are their last regular season game against each other.
I understand that.
I'm saying, how cool is that going to be if that determines it?
I hope it does.
Oh man, we're gonna have a party. You're invited, Steve.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you who's gonna end up winning this. Is Trent's gonna end up winning this.
Whoa, thank you, Ty.
Trent wins all of the beer bets against you, dude.
Oh, this is stupid.
You owed him like 18 beers.
Let me interject. I will say I'm on a little bit of a cold streak with the beer bets. I lost this past weekend, so all right, we'll keep
all of averages here.
Yeah, it's catching up. It's
All
catching
right.
up to me.
Let's get the Big Ten in here.
I hate the Big Ten this year. Ugh.
This could be pretty unanimous.
What happened with we started talking at the end of the Nebraska-Wisconsin game. Did Nebraska end up coming back and winning?
I got it up here right now. Hold on. It looks like... Oh, no, the score's not on. Darn it. I had it up.
Get the stat guys on it.
Yeah, get the stat guys.
Oh, I got it. 80 to 72 overtime. Nebraska won.
No way.
I can't believe that. Wow.
Holy.
They were getting drilled.
Oh, wow.
That's
They were
nuts.
down was it over 15 or 15 at one point?
They were down 16 at half. 16 at half.
Yeah, they were. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, let's get into Big Ten now.
Yeah.
That
After that
changes a little bit. That shakes some things up. All
one.
right.
80 to 72 in overtime. Holy crap. Wow.
Yeah, they were out 40 to 24 in the second half, and then 13 to 5 in overtime. Wow.
That's nuts. Yeah,
All right,
yeah, wow.
Tyler, start us off.
I think pretty easy. I think Purdue. Not much to say. I mean, Edie's there still. Again, another 40-year-old. I don't know. The team to watch, though, that I think can make some noise is Illinois. I think keep an eye on Illinois a little bit. They're a team I've also kind of been side betting, not necessarily like recipe picks right now, but keeping an eye on just in the sense of how they've been playing. So they're 7-3 in conference, game and a half back. They're on a 2-game win streak, 16-5. So I think they can make some noise. But yeah,
Steve, not to jump you here, but for my Big Ten, I have Purdue because Zach Edey's back for his seems like 5th season. Side note: watch out for Illinois; they can make a run.
Dude,
so Tyler, that is that's crazy. We literally have the same assessment on the Big Ten.
Ironically, I was almost there, and I was going to say, hey guys, we'll see what happens at the end of this Nebraska-Wisconsin game.
Yeah.
So that kind of answered that for me. So I mean, I'm rolling with Purdue. Purdue obviously have Zach, but what stands out for them this year is that they actually have really good guards. And their guard play, I think that's what's going to help them. Do I think they win a championship? Matt Painter, I don't.
Every
Rick Barnes.
Every year in the tournament.
Yeah, I don't know. But as far as the Big Ten goes, unless they have to, they've already played Northwestern twice, so that's out of the way.
How about that game last night, though? That Purdue-Northwestern game? Purdue shot 50, but was it like 50 more free throws? Or 40 more free throws?
Northwestern shot like 9.
Yeah.
The whole game. I don't blame the coach for kind of just going off, man. Like
he did.
He told him, catch me outside the stadium, man. We got some words, man. So, but yeah, it's Purdue, man. It's simple pick here. It's just Wisconsin. Hey, man, thanks for showing up. Awesome. You put a scare at us. Illinois is a great pick because they lost their best player. They got their best player back. Whatever that whole situation goes beyond the court, I'm not a legal guy, so I don't know how it works. You can have a lawsuit, like a restraining order against a school, and then go play. Like I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Nobody does. Nobody does. It's the NCAA.
Right. But for me, it was weird that I thought they were a better team without him. But
Interesting. Yeah.
We'll see. Having him back is probably the best thing for him going forward.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. And then, we don't. What keeps me holding on from Illinois is just that I don't know if they'll just all of a sudden he's like, oh, by the way, he won't be able to play.
Yeah,
that's true. But then again, they're better without him. So I don't. It's
like a catch-22 kind of thing.
Yeah. That's a good point because they say a lot of times when you lose a key player, it can actually get it can get your team to become better because now guys have bigger roles. And you're right, there wasn't a huge drop off when he was out. That's for sure. I'm still not sold enough on them being able to take down Purdue. I'm with you.
Real quick,
I'm with all of you
say
guys.
Something? I have always wanted to use the phrase "that's a catch-22," so I appreciate you guys letting me use that in this time because I never knew when that time would come, but I've always wanted to use that.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah. I always use double-edged sword instead of catch-22, which is like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Are they the same?
You like double things, don't you?
Yes,
anyway, moving on. I do have a name. We've been throwing around coaches like Painter that gets knocked out early. Rick Barnes has caught in some strays here. I'm gonna go. You know who we haven't mentioned
you just
is
said Clutton.
Yeah, that's a word now.
Clutton some strays.
Jamie Dixon.
TCU.
TCU.
Remember his years at Pitt? He had some tough Big East Pitt basketball teams, and it'd be like, "Yep, I put them in the Elite Eight, Final Four, and then they lost opening weekend." I was like,
if even that far, they were like 32 round.
Yeah, that name came to my mind when you guys were talking Painter and those guys. I was like, "Hey, we didn't even drop like a Jamie Dixon line here. Like,
no, that's true.
He never makes it out of the first weekend." So
that's a great point.
Yeah, so we're clean sweep Purdue there. Was that clean?
I was gonna say, what's the next conference?
Let's jump to the Pac-12 in its last season.
Man,
I don't even like that. Like I said, I'd rather do some of those other ones, but we'll do Pac-12 since they're still around.
We'll hit Pac-12 quick. I mean,
okay.
I love Pac-12 in football this year, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to argue against Arizona.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, I'm going to go regular season champ. I'm going to go with Arizona right now. I think they'll finish at the top. I don't think they'll win their tournament. But again, I'll save that for another discussion. But yeah, I'll go Arizona here.
Yeah, it's hard to pick anybody else but Arizona. Top 20 defense on KenPom, top 10 offense on KenPom. We'll see what Oregon does tonight. They get a win against USC.
Yeah.
That would help them out, but I just don't see anybody else beating them. They might stumble on one game.
Well, yeah, and I mean, if they stumble with USC, then I mean it's a 4-point game right now. And that's only the first half, but USC is 2-7. You know what I mean? So if they stumble here, I mean that's not going to help Oregon's case.
Yeah, this is a bad USC team.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you too. I'm going Arizona.
Okay.
Their starting five all essentially averages double-digit points. Caleb Love having the experience, transferring there from UNC, I think it's going to help them. Granted, even though 3 of their losses are to Pac-12 teams, I think that's just division play. Like, you know what I mean? Going to away teams, playing them there, whatever. I'm going with Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Arizona as well, but as you guys know, the West Coast never produces national champions in college basketball. So, not since maybe like the good old days of UCLA's. But I mean, in reality, really, remember the statistic last year was like anybody past a certain state, there has not been a national championship in like the modern day age. So it's like, I'll go Arizona. I hate Arizona. Just hate them. I don't know what it is. It's like, well, they knocked off Duke this year at our place on like a fluke little layup and one. But yeah, I'm gonna go Arizona winning this one. Team I like, Tyler. I know that we don't want to predict maybe the conference tournament, but a team that I think could go on a little streak in the postseason is Colorado.
They're playing well.
Yeah, they're streaky sometimes. They're sneaky. I don't wager against them because they're too unpredictable for me.
Yeah.
They show up every now and then.
All right. So what we'll do here, we can just rapid fire these off. Then we'll do A10, Big East, AAC, and then Mountain West, and then we'll kind of finalize some stuff here with college basketball. So let's go Trent's favorite Atlantic 10 first.
Well, sorry, sponsorship. The ACC is my favorite. A10, I just gave compliments tonight. Sorry. I want to make sure I get that paycheck.
Looking at it top to bottom, it's hard not to pick Dayton. Richmond's on an 11-game win streak, which is just bananas to me. I'm still gonna go. I'm gonna go Dayton regular season champ here. But I would say a team not to sleep on. I'm gonna say 2 teams not to sleep on. Now one's a little bit further back, but don't sleep on VCU. And then a team that I love to gamble on is the Bonnies, St. Bonaventure. So,
oh man,
like them.
But yeah, I'm gonna say Dayton. Dayton wins it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like that.
All right.
So, I'm rolling with Richmond. I like the way these guys play. Unfortunately, I can't wager on them in Virginia because we're not allowed to wager on Virginia schools.
What?
They're voting on it. It's coming back up again, so hopefully that will change because they realize they're missing out on money. We had JMU and football running. Right. We have all these schools to we're missing out on a chunk of good schools to bet on, and they know they can get revenue off that.
Wow, I did not realize that. So you can bet on every school except for Virginia schools.
Yep. I mean, luckily I live in right outside of Washington D.C.
Okay.
So if I'm near Maryland, it's a quick
drive up the street real quick.
yeah. I'm off subject, but in Virginia, we can't bet on opinion-based awards, so no Heisman, no MVPs, none of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
They all have to be done out of the state. But anyways, I like Richmond. Like the way they're playing. I live right by George Mason. Attended a little bit of George Mason. I'm 39. So I was around there when they went to the Final Four. It was nuts around this area.
I'll bet.
and the school looks completely different now. I mean, that jacked the price up, the tuition double
really?
The price. It was $3,500 a semester.
Right.
Now it was $7 after that. Now it's now it's 14, and it just keeps going up. But
right.
So I've seen a good amount of these A-10 schools in person going to the George Mason games.
Yeah.
I didn't make it down. My mom lives in Richmond, so I haven't been able to get to a Spiders game yet this year. But yeah, Richmond, I like. VCU or frauds this year.
I think so.
They're not as good as they normally are. But yeah, it's a 2-horse race, Dayton and Richmond.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dayton. I am. I think Deron Holmes is the real deal. I think he's a legit player. And I just think that in general, Dayton has a very well-rounded roster. I always say they have 2 Kobe's. Kobe Bray and Kobe Ellis, who are 2 guards that can match up with anyone in the country. I truly think that I know Richmond just knocked them off and ended their 11-game win streak recently. But I think Dayton's going to win the regular season. I think they're a team that can actually do well in the tournament just based off of their roster makeup. Sure. They have 2 really good guards that are consistent. They make minimal mistakes. They have a star in Deron Holmes, which is you need star power to succeed in the NCAA tournament. So I'm going to go with Dayton. I like them this year. I think they're the real deal, and I think they could be maybe the FAU of last year. To be honest, I know they're ranked 21st right now or something. So it's not this crazy prediction, but either way, I think Dayton's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do like Richmond a lot, though, Steve.
I do too, and honestly, Richmond's one of my favorite teams to bet on right now.
Absolutely.
I wish, but no, it was a tough choice, man. But it's between those 2, man. I'm not going to be upset either one of those guys end up winning the A-10. But yeah, I mean, you make a good point. But you know what? As far as calling it FAU, I think outside of people who actually watch college religiously all the time, they're going to overlook Richmond when they see it on the bracket, and they're going to be like, oh, these guys are small schools. So, you know, even if they're ranked, they're still going to be overlooked.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I'm going Dayton. I think they're eventually going to rise up and over Richmond. Dayton was on a 13-game win streak. Their only 2 losses before that Richmond game were to Houston, who we know are a top 5 team, and then they lost at Northwestern by 5. So that game
from the Big Ten.
Yes, Northwest. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So to go into Richmond, it was basically like a little in-season conference championship game right there. Hey, and I believe, because I was following that game, Dayton was up the majority, and Richmond came back in the second half. So I just think Dayton is going to end up. They have once again one of the better players, if not the conference player of the year there. So I think Dayton will rise to the top there.
All right.
Definitely 2-horse race for sure. But
so I don't know how much discussion we have to do with this one. Big East. Are we all on the same team for the Big East with UConn?
UConn. Yeah.
Yeah. No one
I can't.
All right, so I'll mark it across.
I will say though, the tournament is not. I mean,
save it. You got your 2 early Final Four coming up. Don't say nothing yet. Come on.
The Big East when it comes to basketball is very, very good. That's all I'm saying. We'll end it there.
That's because you're enrolled at Villanova right now. Stop it, Homer.
Hey, whatever, man. Hey, go Cats.
There you go. Oh,
hey, there's Villanova killed me yesterday, man.
Ooh.
Trey, the V is down.
V's down. Oh man. Careful.
They killed me yesterday. That was a smash spot for them the other day, man. Was it not yesterday? It was Tuesday. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Tuesday, right?
Yep.
I'm confusing my days, but yeah, it was the best situational spot.
Seriously.
Betting wise, it was like, wow, one of the Marquez players are hurt.
Yep.
They need this win. It's at home. They played them close last time. And I was like, oh, this is easy. I don't even have to look at stats. Villanova's going to cover this and win this. It's over.
Dude,
surprise.
That's
that game, the way it started, it was like 30-13.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I look back and I'm like, hold on a second. Villanova tied it, and then they pulled away again, Marquette. But that was a good game. That was really good.
They used everything they had just to get it like tied up. When I saw that, I was like, they don't have enough gas just to finish that. Like that was, I mean, it was great that they came back like that, but it was just too much. Not enough in the tank.
Yep.
All right, let's jump to the AAC. Right now, sitting at the top, you got 3 teams that are tied for first in the regular season. You got Florida Atlantic, South Florida, and Charlotte. Florida Atlantic and South Florida both on 6-game win streaks. Charlotte's on a 7-game win streak currently right now. Just because they have a winner's name right now, I'm just going to say that Charlotte's going to take the regular season. The 49ers.
Oh my God! Steve, I don't know if you know this, but I hate the 49ers. If you ever listen to our podcast, I'm a Packers fan. Tyler's a 49ers fan.
I listen, man. I felt your pain when you talking about Jordan Love. I mean, I felt it, man.
Yep.
I felt it. Felt it through the
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Listen, I don't like Brock Purdy either, but that's because I watched him just like torches a couple times when he was at Iowa State, and I just, this guy, I'm always like, no, he's not that good. No. But he actually, he's legit, man. Like,
I wouldn't say legit.
Listen, I'll never give my brother props either, bro. I get it, man. No.
and not only that, like as a Packers fan, they're just our kryptonite. But like I said, that's another conversation. We'll bring it back.
We can get into that then.
So yeah, AAC. I mean, I wish that North Texas had a better record. Yeah. I love the way these guys play.
Dude, I love watching them play.
Their defense is like they're aggressive. They just maybe for the I don't know if did the AAC have a tournament? I think so, right?
I believe so.
Right? Yeah. Maybe I'll watch out North Texas in their tournament, but yeah, it's right now is either like South Florida came out of nowhere to me. I didn't expect them to be this high. I had them before the season started. I was like, 4th or 5th. Yeah. That's probably where they'll end up. But just to be different, man, not picking FAU, I go South Florida.
Cool. Trey?
All right.
All right. So this is probably my biggest dark horse pick, underdog pick, but I love this conference. I think it's very entertaining in terms of how equal the conference is in terms of competition. FAU is clearly one of the favorites, and they should be. They got a great roster still, but I'm going to go with Memphis. So I know they're on a slide right now. They lost their last 4, including I think 2 or 3 to the American Conference. But looking at the future of their schedule, they have all the bulk of their games are all the American Athletic Conference, and they have all the people that are ahead of them. They also have their starting 5. They have 5 players that shoot above 35% from the 3. I think that's a huge thing when it comes to basketball, the 3-point line. It's become such a pivotal part of the game. To have 5 players that shoot above 35% is pretty rare.
Nuts.
And I think they're 4-0. Yeah, 4-0 against the AP top 25. So they play good teams well, and that's precisely the reason why I'm going with Memphis.
Okay. I'm actually surprised Trey picked against FAU.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a smart pick. It's the chalky pick, but they lost to some Florida Gulf Coast this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Charlotte's at the top of their division, but they're a team that was ranked in top 15, top 10 this year.
Right.
And they're losing to teams that you can't lose to if you're going to be that highly regarded. So I don't know. I think Memphis has the talent. I think they have the players, and just this. I don't know. Is Penny Hardaway still there? I honestly don't even know. Yes.
Yeah. He's still there. I don't know, man. Memphis I haven't seen it yet because I really thought they were gonna just go ahead and take that step, and Memphis is gonna be Memphis this year. So right now it's kind of like a down year. So like you said, maybe they get right in February and they just lock in. They lock in and go for it, man. I mean, it's not out of the question. They're that talented to do. So
yeah. I think they could get hot at the right time. That's all. I think they have the bulk of their conference schedule ahead of them, and they could make some steps. I know they're 4 games back, maybe. It's kind of tough at this point, but like I said, dark horse pick for me.
All right.
I'm going chalk. I know they dropped some questionable games, but they also have some major wins. I'm going Florida Atlantic. It is. I mean, I know it's not a shock, but they're way too good, way too loaded. Trey, I do agree with you. I think Memphis will be the team that they meet in their conference tournament.
Ooh.
I think that'd be an awesome game too. Lots of points.
That was the matchup, first round matchup of the NCAA tournament last year. Remember that? And it was a great game.
Yeah.
It was 8-9. It was probably the best game of the first round last year.
Yeah,
that's right.
All right, let's finish this out with the Mountain West. I'm gonna go. Like I said, I'm just gonna give you a pick. I'm going New Mexico. That's another team I've been liking to bet on a lot. I know they just dropped one, but I'm going New Mexico regular season. I do like Utah State and how they play. For some reason, I love to gamble on the teams like Utah Valley, Utah State, Utah Tech, for whatever reason. But I'm gonna say.
Are you a Mormon?
No, I'm not. No, I don't know. It's weird. I literally find myself sometimes just if I find this Utah, I'm like, oh, this is another team I found. I actually confuse them sometimes too. So I gotta make sure I got the right team names and everything. But yeah, I'm gonna go New Mexico with this one. They're a game and a half back from first.
Yeah, I must agree with you. I like New Mexico. I know 6-3 in conference. Utah State 7-1. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see what Utah's got left. No, maybe they end the season with Utah against New Mexico.
Could come down to it.
Yeah, they got to drop 2 other games, and if New Mexico wins out, this is tough.
Hey, I can make your decision easier on you. Every time I wager on New Mexico loses. So if you just say, hey, Trent, drop a couple bucks on New Mexico. I got the other way. I got you. It's okay. Take one for the team. I'm telling you, because New Mexico's good, but every time I wager on them, I'm like, seriously? Like, really? You're gonna do that to me?
Right.
I think the one time Jalen House almost picked up his fourth foul in the first half.
Yeah.
When I wagered, I'm like, this is great. There's their top guy, him and Mashburn.
It's like they know, man. I don't know how some of these teams do
it totally feels like that, right? Where you're like,
yeah,
all the time.
I don't know if you guys are big like Ken Pom guys. I'm a believer of that for college basketball. And looking at the numbers and seeing how their adjusted offenses comparing each other. I mean, New Mexico's got the 39th best offense in the country and the 26th best defense, as opposed to the Utah State's 41st in the offense and 43rd in defense. Yeah. I'm gonna go with New Mexico. I'm gonna roll with the data.
Yeah.
It might not work my way, but you know what?
It's in your favor though.
Yeah, but even their projections right now, they have Utah 14-4, New Mexico 12-6.
Okay.
For the conference.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go against it. We'll get one. We'll get a few of them. We'll see what happens.
I like it. Trey?
Yeah. Steve, I'm glad you mentioned Ken Pom. Do you ever hear of the Blue Ribbon Yearbook?
Yes, I've heard it. I haven't really dived into it.
Listen, I subscribe to it. I get the spiral bound physical edition every year. It's one of the best resources because it uses Ken Pom and it also uses people that are like experts in every conference. So look into it. I'm a big advocate into it. But
okay. Yeah, no, I love that stuff.
When it comes to the Mountain West, I'm also going with I wouldn't say a dark horse, but a team that not a lot of people would maybe pick is Boise State.
Not bad.
I think they have they have just a very well-rounded roster, like a lot of people that can contribute. Their fourth go-to guy, Max Rice, just scored 35 points against New Mexico. I just think they can get hot at the right time. I think the Mountain West is kind of up for grabs, and as a whole, I don't believe in Utah State. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the team that has four guys that average 12 points and 5 rebounds a game. And that's Boise State. So I think that's pretty tough to overcome. But
all right, Trent?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go. It's really hard for me not to go New Mexico. But like I said, if I pick it, your guys' picks are doomed. I'm going to go with the top dog right now. I'm going with the Aggies, Utah State. I just go with a little bit more balance because when I watch New Mexico, it's got to be House and it's got to be for Junior. Like if they're not playing, they're a quality game. It's a totally different team, And sometimes even if one goes off and the other, it's not enough for them. So I look at Utah State across the board with Darius Brown. I'm going to butcher his pronunciation. Osobor, big man for Utah State, averaging. He's averaging almost 20 a game right now.
His first name is Great.
Yeah, I should have just called him Great, but
isn't that awesome? Yeah,
it is. It is. So cool. Yeah, it is. So I'm going Utah State for the Mountain West. I've always liked them. It was probably about 3 years ago. I can't remember their big post player, but I know he wore number 23. He was unstoppable for them. And they were a team that I was consistently following and wagering on. Now, he's not there, but I like the Utah State Aggies this year. Projected 6 bids coming out of this conference right now.
Really?
That was the other night on the little
ACC has
bracket.
3 according to Lenardi, which is a joke.
2 maybe.
That's why they're replacing the Pac-12 fellows. Right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know. All right.
Basketball wise, they could. Football
wise, too.
Not after this year,
man.
Not after this year. But
why not? Come on.
Let's real quick. Let's knock out, like we said. Let's do our way too early Final Four picks.
too early. Not way, because the season's halfway done.
Yeah, it's pretty early.
I know, but all right, too early Final Fours. Steve, you want to start us?
Yeah. My 4, I'm gonna start with UConn. I just feel like they're a machine. They're just, who's gonna stop them right now? I'm gonna go ahead and take a risk. I'm gonna say the Boilermakers, man. I'm gonna give Matt Painter a chance this year. I'm gonna live and die with Matt Painter.
All right.
To bring back a point I brought up earlier about Houston going through the Big 12, going through that gauntlet, getting ready, battle tested. I think they're going to be a 1 seed. That's going to be one of the people you see finish. 4th was tough because honestly I was trying to fit 4 teams into one spot, and I honestly feel UNC will end up there. Experience, age, that's the recipe to get you there. So I know Purdue and UConn kind of chalk, and maybe a little bit Houston, but I'm taking a risk on it. It feels like the riskiest pick was Purdue on that one.
What's funny is, and as good as they are, I agree with you. It's just that it's how they always are. Like every year it's like, oh Purdue, oh Purdue. It's like.
Can we agree? Like it's all comes down to like Edey's gonna get his, but like you said earlier, the guards this year. If those guys, when Edey kicks it out to them, when he gets triple, double, quadruple teamed, can they hit that open shot? You're right. That's the guards could be the difference there for sure.
I
need to be.
And that's it.
Hey, I'll tell you what though, I agree with you with the Houston pick because I was wrong about them last year. I was like, oh, overrated. They dropped big games and stuff like that, and they kind of ran through some teams. I think Houston will be battle tested, like you said, and I think they have a good shot. So that's a good pick. I like that. All right, I'll throw mine out here real quick. I'm going UConn as well. I'm going Tar Heels. I'm going Kansas and Arizona. Which honestly, as I look at that is the most boring Final Four ever. I mean, I gotta, I want to pick some dog. You know what I mean? I want to be like, oh man, Oral Roberts is gonna make it, or UNC Asheville, or hey, maybe West Virginia will be a 16th seed and they'll make it. No, I'm just kidding. But that was kind of Steve. That was a running joke last year. I picked West Virginia to be a 16 seed, and they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. I'm just."
We all kind of believe that. I mean, something about West Virginia was like, "Yo, they're gonna do something."
Yeah,
and then we just were sitting at that first day, like, "Are you serious?" Like,
but yeah, I got UConn, UNC, Kansas, Arizona. So
you imagine playing West Virginia as a 16 seed? I'd be like, nah, I quit. Like, come on.
I think they end up getting a 5 seed or something.
Oh,
like a 4 seed or something.
Like 7 or 9 or something. Yeah.
It was higher than 16.
No, so actually, I made 4 future bets when it came to like comp or champions in the NCAA tournament. When it comes to the Final Four, truly it all depends on the draw, right? Like we have to see the bracket before you can make a valid Final Four pick. But just based off of statistics and everything else, I went with my 4 picks that I made for the featured bets to win the overall tournament. That is Kansas. Okay, so I think Kansas is there. Duke. I think Duke I think Duke might even play UNC in the tournament, and they beat them.
Just
with the experience or not. But sorry, God, yeah, my bad. Third team is Creighton. I think they got great people on every aspect of basketball when it comes to the big man that can spread it out. Comes to Shireman, is that his name?
Yep, Shireman.
Great overall guard, and then they have a conference or a Naismith Player of the Year in Trey Jackson. Is it Trey Jackson?
23.
Yeah.
Or is that Alexander? I might
Trey Alexander. Maybe, I don't know. I know his first name's Trey because we share it. That's why I'm proud of it. But
it's adorable.
The last team is a little bit of a dark horse. Is Miami of Florida. I think Jim Larinaga, with the experience he's had and the team he has, I think that they make a little bit of a run. So I'm going to go.
Trey, you understand they're not even like being talked about right now.
That's great. I love that, and that's why I love that, Tyler.
Really. My question marks. Like, I don't know what's going on with them, man. Like, I know Jimmy can coach, man. Like, that's but
get him hot at the right time. That's all I care about.
His face sometimes during the games looks like he's like, I hate these MFers playing right now. Like he hates his team for some reason, man. Like he just looks like they're not listening to me. They're doing what they want to do. Like I just maybe I'm gauging that wrong. But
you're right though with his face.
You're not gauging it wrong, but
he looks just like that. That's funny.
Keep in mind a lot of NIL money to keep some of those guys there this past year.
Yeah,
like was it Nigel Pack? He got paid because Miami, they always done it. Yeah, they even in the '90s they had NIL, I think. But yeah, that's Trey. That's wow. They're not even getting a bid right now.
No, we'll see about that. We'll see.
All right, that was okay. So I'm gonna go. I'm going to Houston, Connecticut, UNC, which is super chalky. And then my, I guess, kind of out there pick is I think this person is going to overcome his tournament struggles as of late, and I think Marquette with Shaka Smart, they're going to get there.
Wow.
So that's my dark horse.
It's a team we didn't talk a lot about, and they're not doing bad this year.
Yeah.
What's his name? Kolak.
Yeah, the point guard. It's their big man. Man, when you watch the Maui this year, yeah, they were a tough out in the championship game for Purdue. And I mean that was a heck of a Maui tournament this year. Now that I think of it too, but I don't know. I just think Marquette's going to be a team that they can get a little streaky, hopefully at the right time, and that's the key. Like you've been saying, Trey, like get hot at the right time, but. Plus, yeah, it is tough with their defense. Shaka Smart's also playing a little defense. If you've ever watched those clips, too, he's like right there holding a hand up in a shooter's face from the coach's box.
He was on a court.
I know. So, but yeah, the Marquette's kind of my little bit of a whoa, really. But right now they're projected as on team rankings. I got them as a 3 seed right now. It says them having them there, but
I can see that.
Yeah.
Any fringe teams for you guys?
No. So,
what do you mean, making the tournament or making the Final Four?
So, like, being that Final Four, like, where were the teams that you were like, you kept taking in and putting out?
I honestly, this sounds crazy, but I actually. Mine is UConn because whenever you have the obvious choice, it just seems like it never happens. Do you know what I mean? And right now, I feel like
that's not a fringe team though. That's a very
but you said like team you're looking at, you're like, probably not.
I mean, like you were trying to decide with. I mean, regardless of what the record is, but like somebody you're like, I want to put him in, but you know what, like.
Well, so that's kind of what I know they're not a trade. I know they're not like an unlikely team to make. I'm just saying that was the one team that when I was sitting there looking to fill out my Final Four, Houston is like, I think they're solid for me. I think they're in. Like they were solid. Carolina, I think the age, the experience, the chip on the shoulder of not making the tournament last year with all that talent, I think that carries them in there. I gave you my reasons on Marquette, but it's UConn. I'm like, I just see too much chalk. We don't see chalk in the men's tournament as much. So I just thought UConn was one that I could probably pull out of there and probably find maybe like an Arizona, even though I'm like, I hate Arizona. So
see, that's my fringe team then, Trent.
Yeah, I was
Arizona.
Arizona is a team I'm not sold on, but I put them in there right now. But I could see that going somewhere differently.
I'm gonna say, ask me on Sunday. After Tennessee plays Kentucky, if Tennessee just stomps them out, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to take out Purdue and maybe slide in Tennessee. Like
Okay.
that was my
Right.
first team there. Because
That's very fair.
It was Tennessee and like all the SEC schools, Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn. Like what are these three gonna do? Because
that's a very good point, because this weekend does have a huge influence on the future. I think there's so many good games where it's like, holy shit, like I want to see what happens first before I start making big decisions. So you're right, Steve.
All right. You guys want to move to football?
Let's do it. Let's do it. So hey, can I transition us into football here? Being a fellow Raiders fan, what are your expectations with the hiring of Antonio Pierce? And now the rumor mill looking like it is almost confirmed now. We were reporting that it is that Kingsbury is the offensive coordinator.
Means you're going for a quarterback. That's for damn sure.
I was gonna say, like,
I'm hoping so. What's your outlook? What are your I hate having expectations for the Raiders because I feel like I'm constantly just disappointed. But what is your feeling right now? Like where are we headed?
I like the direction we're headed. We didn't overthink our coach hire. Like, if Antonio Pierce doesn't work out, like, I can live with that, but you didn't, like, BS to get to Antonio, right? I'm happy with that. If Cliff comes in, I've seen what Cliff can do. If he's bringing this, maybe, rest in peace, Mike Leach, but, like, if he brings some, like, crazy, like, we have Devontae Adams on our team, man, like, but who's going to throw him the ball? Is Aiden O'Connell the guy? I know, Jimmy's gone. Probably, we're not going to worry about Jimmy. So they're at, what, spot 13th in the draft this year?
I think so.
I believe.
I think, yeah.
I don't know if they're trade up to get a quarterback, but I think that's probably one of the biggest needs is getting that franchise quarterback. So the fact that we have, if Cliff's going to be the hire, we know what type of quarterback he's going to need. And do I think Aiden can do it? I don't know if I saw enough to, like, really say he can't or can. Yeah. So we have, if they want to stick with Aiden, as long as they, like, make that O-line better, draft some O-linemen, get some interior D-linemen, get some tackles up in there.
Yeah.
And then address the secondary. I think, and if you want expectations or what I think, like, if we can hit 500 next year, I think we're trending in the right direction.
I was surprised at you guys this year.
Yeah.
Like, I did not expect them to have the success
since
that they
AP
did.
took over.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me ask you, ready? Hypothetical trade. Would you give up our next 2 years, our first round pick, and Josh Jacobs to get Caleb Williams if we could?
I have arguments about Caleb with people. I know how talented he is. I don't know if there's, like, I don't know. I mean, the guy won a Heisman. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. And USC, the games they won, literally were because of him.
Right.
So it's not like he quits if it gets hard. But does he have attitude issues? Is it that, or are these like Twitter rumors we see coming out that we're just, they're assuming he's this way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't. Is he supposed to be generational talent and they're calling him, he's supposed to be as good as he is? Why not? But giving up Jacobs, 2 first-rounders, nah, man, like, Chicago can kick rocks for that, man. I don't know, man. Like, if anything, I don't even like. Maybe we get Justin Fields and then we try to get some more draft picks.
Yeah.
Like, and so we can actually address the issues on O-line and D-line and our secondary. I wouldn't mind that. Like, is Justin Fields a bad quarterback? He's not amazing, but I don't think he's awful.
Right.
So But then again, like I can't say
he needs to be in the right
O'Connell
system.
is,
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
put him with a guy like Kingsbury, who's gonna get the most out of him. You know what I mean? In the sense of like, hey, like, you know, let's use what your talents are and let's make it work. You know what I mean? Because he has a hell of an arm. The guy can obviously run. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and who knows? Then maybe that's where you send Jimmy. Send Jimmy to Chicago. You know what I mean? And let them, you know, take on some of that money, because I think that's a big glaring thing for you guys now. Jimmy's contract's pretty big.
Yeah. Thanks, Josh.
He's supposed to be a franchise quarterback. It's just he finessed us, man. He's like Matt Flynn, man. Matt Flynn collected checks.
Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn collected checks. Hey, man, hats off to him. Salute. I wish I could do that. I would finesse the league and get a couple mil and just go like, you know, man, I'm done playing football. Like, you guys have fun, man.
Steve, that's funny because Tyler, that probably is a dagger to Tyler's heart.
Well, a little bit.
Tyler said that.
I mean, I'm a Niner fan, so like I love Jimmy. Like, no matter where he's at this point in time.
Tyler,
let him go, Ty.
Let me tell you how much you love him. Is that you said he is a Hall of Fame.
Didn't say Hall of Fame. Never said Hall of Fame.
Trent?
Never said Hall of Fame.
I mean, he put him like top 5.
Top 5 all time.
No, top 10. Hold on.
I mean,
top 10 statistically.
Anybody who puts on the 49er uniform, I got it, man. Listen, man. Listen. I love Justin Farkas. All right, like that was one of my favorite running backs, and that guy was in relative to everybody else, he wasn't really that good, but like that was my guy. You know what I mean?
Can we? And this is no disrespect to you Raider fans, but anytime the Raiders get a Niner guy, their careers go down. Crabtree, Jerry Rice.
Hold on, we got Jerry Rice to another
Rich
Super Bowl.
Gannon is the reason that he didn't keep his record going. I don't want to hear that shit.
You guys didn't even want Jerry Rice back, and we're like, no, he's not done. Let's get to another Super Bowl at least and get our butts whooped.
Right, come on.
Didn't Bowman played for you guys for a little bit too, didn't he?
I don't think Navarro Bowman
Alden
played
Smith?
No, I don't.
Alden Smith did. We didn't.
I don't remember if Bowman did. I don't think he did.
I think Bowman.
We didn't destroy Alden
very
Smith's
little bit.
career. He kind of took that into his own hands.
I'm just saying. But no,
man, we didn't mess things up for Jerry. I mean, look at that. That was like one of the dopest like old man wide receiving core like ever. Like we shouldn't even. We should have been in the Super Bowl. We should have had. They could have had any the four of us here calling plays in that Super Bowl, and the Raiders would have won. But no, we had the one guy who goes, you know what? I'm not going to change my plays, but I'm playing against the guy who was my head coach the other year, and he knows everything I do. And so, there
you go. Bowman did play for the Raiders in 2017. A one-year contract for $3 million.
Let's put out there too about that Super Bowl. We had, what was it, Charlie Garner, Tyrone Wheatley, Zach Crockett, and they came in like 24 hours saying, oh, yeah, we're changing the game plan. We're slinging it all over. And it's like, no, we got here because we ran the ball, you know.
That's why your center disappeared.
Yeah. Was it Jamie Kennedy? Is that his name?
Oh, my God, yeah.
So,
man. But, Let's see what they do, man. At the end of the day, let's see what the Raiders do. We have no expectations. At least, you know what? Could be a Commanders fan. That's what I tell myself every day. Like, you know what I mean? It could be worse. Like, I watch my friends here. They've been suffering since we were kids. You know, I moved here with, I was in 10th grade, man, and it just, it's been rough watching this stuff, man.
Changing names every other year.
Whatever you want to call it, man. They're, you know, I don't get into the argument with that one. Whatever the ESPN says, I'll just say the name. But you know, we still listen. Everyone here just still calls the Redskins, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
You know what? So I'll tell you this: is I took my son. My son and my wife went to the Niners and Commanders game, and people there were calling them the Redskins, like fans, like season ticket holders and everything else. It's like nobody acknowledges their actual name. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know, it's like
it was like the dumbest name. Like I don't want to get into the whole soapbox, but they just dropped the ball on that. They could have went to a 4th grade class and like, all right, guys, what's the name of the team? And they would have probably had a better turnout than Commanders. But we'll see what happens with this new ownership and see if they right the ship and everything else.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
so aren't they like getting threatened for a lawsuit to go back to the Redskins right now?
I wouldn't be surprised,
yeah,
man.
It's something crazy like that.
Yeah, it's like a Native American group or something that's actually like suing them, and it's more based on the logo.
It's like a weird situation, like you picking that hill, like it's just like keep it moving, man. Like it is what it is. Like you could have kept the football team, or I think they couldn't because of the New York. Football Giants.
Really?
They couldn't. Something weird like that. But the best football team in Washington is our XFL team. So go Defenders.
Yeah.
With the beer steak.
Oh, wait,
the beer steak.
By the way, guys, if once again another spot to see a game, you're bored in the spring, let me know. Come down. We'll catch a. That is some of the livest games. Like, you wouldn't even know, like, I'm at an XFL game, and just people are going nuts because there's, like, a general admission area.
Right.
And it's just, like, no seats to set. There's, like, standing areas in there. People just going nuts, man.
Awesome.
So it's a cool environment.
That's cool. And that's UFL now, isn't it? Is that what they call themselves?
Yeah. Something like that, UFL, yeah.
Let's set up a date and all get to a game. That sounds like
awesome.
a good
Yeah.
All right. So let's finish with this. Steve, we'll go with who's winning the Super Bowl. What's the score?
Oh, jeez, man. I'm a betting man, so I'm gonna ignore what Vegas is trying. What Vegas is trying to tell everybody is to bet on the Chiefs, right? The line keeps moving to the 1.5, 2.5.
Yep.
They're not really moving that much. They're making sure all that money is on them boys. So I really think the 49ers get the win. I think score-wise, let's say 24. It's going to be a 3-point. Let's say 24-21, man.
Right,
they're just going to F everybody over on that one, man. Like, hey, sorry you took 2.5 or 1.5. The 49ers have won by 3.
Right.
That is a Brock Purdy game.
Yep. I can see that. That's good. I like that. I hope you're right, man. It's going to be interesting. I mean, again, obviously I'm biased because I'm a Niner fan, but like just seeing what they went through the last 2 weeks. I mean, I was more nervous for the Green Bay game, which I didn't admit until afterwards. No, I was though, just because of how good they were playing. But like, I didn't expect Detroit to like run it down our throats for the first half, and all of a sudden like,
yeah.
So, but I honestly think that the fact that they've gone through like that turmoil now twice in the playoffs, and it's kind of showed like Brock Purdy, like, hey, you haven't done this yet. You haven't played without Debo. Oh, hey, guess what? You lead a game-winning thing. Hey, you haven't come back from this, and even Shanahan. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I do think it is. It's gonna be a great game. Obviously, rematch, but.
Is there, hey Steve? Are you a prop bet guy? Like, do you like props?
Oh, I love them. Yeah, man.
Is there any Super Bowl props that you've already said like, oh yeah, I'm jumping on this now?
FanDuel had a crazy one that they're really trying to bait people in with the will a quarterback throw the ball to himself plus 4,000. I don't like. Come on, guys. Like that's never. That is literally never gonna happen again. Let me pull it up real quick on some I like or something. Only thing I bet on off the bat was San Francisco minus 2.5. As soon as it was announced, and I was like, all right, cool. Like, I know where the money's gonna go. If there's one where Deebo Samuel's getting a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown, I would, and those odds are plus 3,000. That is something I would probably look at if I'm gonna do like a long shot prop.
I like that.
But everything else, I mean, normal, just, look at Christian McCaffrey's rushing yards. Don't go crazy with that, I think. I think it's not going to be this. They think the total is 47.5. They think it's going to be a little, higher scoring NFL game. I don't know, man. I just gut feeling that it's going to be, because, Chiefs do have a good defense.
Yeah.
They have a good D-line, and is it going to be, back and forth? Nah, I don't think it's going to be that way. I really think it's going to be a drugged-out game. Patrick Mahomes is going to do Patrick Mahomes things. I hate the Chiefs. I bet you can agree with me. It's hard for me to cheer for those guys in my stadium to win a Super Bowl.
I know.
That's a double whammy. Nah, man. If San Francisco were 8-point underdogs, I probably would all right, man, San Francisco all day. And I would bet the money line on that one. But yeah, I'm looking at prop wise. I'm looking at Christian McCaffrey yards. I might, it's gonna be parlays. I'm already having friends of mine who've never bet in their lives are like, hey, should I do the kick of destiny? Should I sign up for FanDuel? All right, let's have fun in the Super Bowl party. I'm gonna be teaching girls who've never watched really sports much, who are like, you know what I mean? I know that's off subject, and I know that's a subject people have been beating the hell in the ground with the whole thing, but I told my friends when they first had me, oh man, it's gonna be like Taylor Swift. I'm like, those are girls, man. Go talk to some women, have fun, make the best of it. Enjoy it. Talk about football. You don't even have to be awkward. Just be and just give out some Kelsey stats.
Right.
And keep it moving, man. So have fun with it. It's gonna be a fun game. San Francisco -2.5, and look at McCaffrey's rushing yards. Sorry to go long-winded on that one.
No, you're good.
Steve, I do have one more additional question to ask. So, from the past 6 years, I've gone a $50 bet on the coin toss, heads or tails. I'm 1 in 5 in the last 6 years. So I'm gonna ride with you here, and I'm gonna ask you, what are you taking, heads or tails? And don't feel bad, because like I said, I've lost five years out of the last 6, so there's not much pressure to you.
I bet on if there's gonna be a safety the first.
No. I need to know heads or tails.
Heads or tails, man. 50-50.
It'd be great. And do you have a coin right now that you could flip it and you tell us what?
I don't right now. But
I don't listen. It doesn't matter either way. It's money.
Tails never fails, man.
Right.
Tails never fails.
That's what I would like too. Yep, I like it.
Tails it is. I'm going with it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
I hope you win, man. I would be. You can't bet on those things in Virginia, which is crazy.
Really?
What?
Yeah, anything that's not officially stat recorded.
Right.
It's a no fun state, man. It's just they don't want us to have too much fun. But I have a feeling that once they get more revenue, and they're gonna be I got to see all that kind of behind the scenes things. And when I worked for Betway, I can tell you guys, it changed my view of a lot of just how lines work, how I live bet now. Yeah. You can almost live bet just so you can cash out, guys.
Really?
I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. Just scare the market guys when they're making those live bets, and they're just going to be crap. They have to worry about margins. So it's go ahead and cash out, man. Go ahead. And they're I'll take it. Thanks. I'll take my profit.
There you go.
So
good advice.
Yeah, that is
good.
Yeah. You guys have me on the whole show to tell you how to rig the system.
I was gonna say we should run we'll do a whole episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Believe me.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, hey man, we appreciate you coming on. This was awesome.
So, yeah, man. Thank you, man. Been a long time fan. You guys are awesome, man. It's Twitter ex-gambler, Twitter gambler, whatever you want to call it, man. It's really crazy out there. A lot of wild opinions.
Oh, man.
You can't even. God forbid, you might say something wrong, and dudes are just they act
I'm not gonna
I
lie.
don't get it, but
These guys hold me back sometimes. Where I'm like, "Yo, did you see what that person just said?" They're like, "Dude, just let it go." I'm like, "I know, I know."
Man, you just guys just keep it moving, because it's you just miserable, just oh no, man,
right.
you give your opinion. We're all sports fans. We give our opinions. You might agree, it might be wrong, you might be right. Hey, man, like I said, my tagline is we like to have fun around here.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm never gonna take it too serious.
Nah.
We have fun, but yeah, no, I appreciate you guys for having me on. And
Absolutely, man.
yeah, man. I anytime I can talk about sports and betting, I'm there.
Heck yeah, man.
All right.
Well, hey,
Yeah,
thanks
we'll,
for.
I was gonna say we'll have to get you back on closer to tournament time.
Oh,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Man,
we'll
let me
do
know, man.
we'll
Get
do a whole nother thing.
The bracket breakdown ready, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Or
that'd
we
be
can,
awesome.
if you guys want to do picks leading up, and that
Yep.
first weekend, and I stack money just for that first
There you
weekend,
go.
and I'm gonna try to bet on every game.
Yeah.
Remember, rule of thumb, unders.
Oh yeah.
First weekend unders. That's it. We just ride it.
Yep.
That's
All
it.
right.
Hey.
All
All
right.
right, man. Well, hey,
All right.
Steve, appreciate you,
Talk to you
man.
guys later.
All right, we'll talk to you
Bye.
soon. All right, bye.
Bye.
See you.
Take it easy, man.